Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to start my week with you today, have to
I
say.
agree. I agree. I'm looking forward to this all day.
And well, I'm glad you. I woke up. Sarah's like, "We're going live today, right?" I was like, "Yes, yes, we are."
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to wake you up.
So we have a wonderful class today with a brand new kit that Sarah designed, and it has 3 pieces in it. In one kit, you get to make a necklace, a bracelet, and earrings. The kit's like only $29, so I think it's kind of a steal.
Oh yeah.
And it has gemstones and beautiful Czech glass, and you're going to get to see all of it's the big reveal is about to come. So very excited to show you the kit. How's life for you these days, Sarah?
It's good. It's busy, but I can't complain. Got lots of things going on, but I get to hang out with you. I'm going to dinner with Kathy tonight. Like I
Aw.
can't complain. I got good stuff going on.
Oh, well, say hi to Kathy for me.
I will.
And hello, everyone in the comments. Hello, everyone watching the replay. We're so glad that you're here with us, and hopefully we can provide you some lovely inspiration to start off your week. Sarah has 3 designs for you today, all in one coordinated palette. So these are fun to put together because I get to start like picking out beads and like, ooh, that looks kind of nice together. And I send to Sarah like, oh, what do you think? Is this bad? Is this good? What do you think? She's like, okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. And then I get to send it all to Sarah, and magically it turns into actual things you can wear, not just a pile of beautiful bead soup. It becomes beautiful jewelry, and that's the magic of Sarah. And
Hey, now that's the magic of Sam right there. The beads are just awesome, and make the designing part easy.
Well, yeah.
Work with, I mean, because you could send me like really weird roast things, and it would be fun. And stuff.
Uh-oh, I think we
magic starts there.
I appreciate it.
Come on.
Is anyone else getting just slightly choppy audio? Hopefully that's just on my end. I don't know.
Gosh.
It's back now. I think we're good. Hopefully. If it's not perfect, we apologize. We're trying a new setup today, so bear with. Oh, now I hear myself a little bit. You don't have the cable to plug your iPad into your computer, right? Directly?
No, they are plugged up together.
Oh, interesting. I don't know what to do in this scenario. We thought this would fix our problems.
Well, I mean, it is a Monday.
This is true. Okay. Oh, Jesse just left, so that's something. We'll see if that helps at all. He was in the stream, so maybe actually that might help a little bit. Will you say something for us to test it out?
For us, testing.
All right, it's working for now, so we won't mess with it.
Okay, cool.
And we'll jump in. Sarah, would you show us the kit that we're making today?
But now I have to change cameras.
Yeah. And if it's not working,
that was easier than I thought it was going to be.
There we go.
Problem. All right, cool. All right, so I don't even know where to start with this, Sam. I'm not sure, like, where shall we go here? Let's see.
Well, could we see the finished pieces to start? And we
can
start with everything we need.
Absolutely. That's a great place to start.
Nice and simple.
All right, so I don't know if you'll be able to see all of it in one shot, but I'll try my best here. So the first thing that we're going to put together is the necklace, because that really is kind of like
sorry to interrupt. I think I have an idea that might help us. Would you change your microphone? Try putting it back to the MacBook microphone.
Let's hear
from StreamYard. We just want to get, for folks watching, we just want to get this sorted on the early side so we can.
Okay, how about now? Is that better?
Yeah, so we'll see if we have the other issue we were having, but it does sound more smooth now.
Okay, good.
Yay, thank you, Sarah.
You are so welcome. Hey, it's a learning curve for both of us. It works. And I can brighten things up a little bit too. There we go. Awesome.
Looks great.
Cool. All right, so we've got our necklace here. Now, this is, to me, like, out of all 3 pieces, you know how, like, if you do a set, like, one of the pieces is like the main event, if you will. The
Sure.
necklace for me is the main event, and it really is just kind of a simple stringing project. However, there's a little bit of extra in here, and that to me is what makes this really cool. First and foremost, we're going to do a knotted head pin for our elephant, and he's going to hang in the center. Now, I know it's not, the way I've got it so you can see the whole necklace, he's not centered up here, but he is going to hang at the center of the bottom of the necklace. And then we're just going to do a really simple, easy little wire clasp, and you can literally do any kind of little clasp that you want to, but I thought just doing a little wire something was kind of cool. It didn't detract from the rest of the design, and it gave me the opportunity to use more of these gorgeous seed beads, which oddly enough, like I love all of the beads in this, but I fell in love with the seed beads. That was probably the very first bead out of this whole kit that I was just like, yes, the seed beads are what I really,
Uh-huh.
really focus on, which is funny because they're the smallest bead in the whole thing, but they really spoke to me. So we're
I
going to
love the
do,
loops. Those are such fun
yeah.
little components there.
Yeah, and that's where you're gonna use your little clasp to put your necklace on and off, or you can just put it over your head if you want to, because it is long enough. But I thought that
Mhm.
was kind of cool, just a little something different. But now that's not to say that there's not a gorgeous clasp in this, right? Because there totally is a beautiful clasp, right?
And can we
And that
actually show
is
off a few of the beads? Because we did quite a bead mix for this kit.
yes. Okay, so look at these.
So we've got our Firepolish 10 millimeter you see there in the necklace. These I found when I was in New York, like digging through old Czech stock. So these are probably like a one-time find.
And they're so pretty.
They're like caramel. They're so delicious.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love, 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 love those. And then to go with those in our necklace and everything else too, but particularly in our necklace are these.
Yeah, we call these Picasso window because they're a clear glass that are covered in that beautiful brown Picasso finish.
They're so pretty.
And Sarah really featured these nicely in the
Oh,
necklace,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So, so pretty. So there are those. We've got, let's see, we have some of these, which you had added in as just like kind of an extra before. These didn't even
Mhm,
actually have the stamp of approval yet until I worked a few of them in.
mhm.
And they're actually red, right? Like they're not.
Yeah, they're like a dark garnet. We ended up throwing like 10 pieces into the kit. We're only going to use a few. It looks in your pieces, but we added extras in most beads so that you could kind of play around with the design
Yeah,
once you get your kit. But you have enough beads if you want to make Sarah's kit as she's done it.
they're so pretty. They're really dark. That's why I say they are, in fact, a red color. It's
Mhm.
just not really coming across on camera, but they are. They're like a really deep, deep garnety color. Okay. And then the amazing sea beads, that's these guys.
Yeah, we got some Tenno Preciosa. These were a Danielle recommendation, and they're actually quite a lovely color.
Yeah, I love those. And what else do we have here? Oh, we can't leave out the elephant. Oh my gosh. That's probably the star are the elephants. And these are absolutely beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, these are our focal bead.
So pretty.
So you get 3 of these in the kit. So we kind of had the idea that you would use it for the earrings and then your necklace focal.
And then we've got drops in 2 different sizes here.
Yeah, these are a fire polish drop. We haven't had a lot of this shape in the shop before. And
I
it's
like
another
it.
one that I picked up in New York. And so I was like, oh, I have both sides of this beautiful bronze color. It was like
Hmm.
perfect for this rustic safari theme we were going for.
And then these are amazing.
Wait, Sarah, I think that's for something else.
What? Or something. What are you talking about?
Are those big coins you're about to show?
No, these are not coins. These are the carved jade.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
the
I
carved
I thought
these
you were.
guys.
I
It's
saw like
okay.
weird
It's
light
okay.
on them. I thought Sarah was about to show like an April box item.
No, 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 no. No.
Oh, well, these are our gemstone feature. You get a 5-piece set of these carved jade rounds. And these are a beautiful old stock item. They're probably carved 10 to 20 years ago. And they don't do it in this quality anymore. So really special gemmy feature to round out our palette.
And then
There's more? Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Toggle. You're making me nervous now, Sam. I'm afraid I'm going to show something I'm not supposed to.
This is the toggle from that TierraCast just launched in their most recent collection, the Keep the Faith collection. I fell in love with their toggle and chandelier, so Sarah and I wanted to incorporate it into this kit. So we have the toggle for the bracelet, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I was going to show you. So the bracelet it has that beautiful toggle. We're using some more of those honey colored beads, the Picasso, some of the little drops, and then the carved jade. And this is just wire wrapping. So you're just going to cut some wire. So we may not make it all the way through the bracelet, but I will get you started so you know exactly how to put it together. And then we're going to put together just some quick little earrings too with some more knotted head pins and the little elephants, if I can untangle him there. Just simple, because I didn't want to overdo it with the earrings. I have a tendency to go big with earrings, and I wanted to keep the earrings as like, they're still amazing and they match, but the bracelet, the necklace is really what I wanted the feature for all this to be. So I didn't want to go too big with these, but I think that this combo of the drop and the elephant was so pretty.
Those are perfect. They're just like exactly what they need to be.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
the ear wire we've included is a niobium ear wire from TierraCast. It's like this dark coppery bronze tone that goes so nicely with the elephant.
All right, are we ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, so folks, if you're wanting to snag this kit, we have a limited quantity of this kit available. It's linked in the video description, and it gives you all the beads you need that Sarah just showed, and the jump rings, toggle, ear wires, and then there's just a couple things you'll need, which is what? Some wire, stringy wire, and crimps?
Yep, not much else. Yeah, just a little bit of other stuff. And we're going to let's start out with our clasp, and then let's do our knotted head pin on our elephant, and then we'll just string all of this yumminess up and get it going.
Oh, I love I've done more and more stringing lately.
Yeah,
it's so satisfying.
You and Danielle, when it comes to stringing, you are like my ultimate inspiration. The two of you all just are constantly stringing the most beautiful things. And I'm like, I wish my brain worked like theirs did.
But how does that work? Because what I string, I think of you and Danielle. So I don't know how that works.
Well, it's good to know that we all love each other's work.
I'm always thinking about how you make a pattern.
For our clasp, this really is not going to take a whole lot of wire, okay? And I always, if you've taken classes with me before, you follow me, you know that I always cut way more wire than I actually need. You're probably only going to need like maybe 4 inches of wire for this, but I cut more just to be on the safe side. Now, I'm also going to be using the stepped bell making pliers for this. However, you don't have to rush out and get this tool if you don't have this. You can still make clasps with what you've got around you. So if you've got the large and small bell making pliers instead of this, that'll work. If you've got anything laying around, if you've got like a dowel set, your round nose pliers, and then maybe a marker, I mean, you really can do this with anything. So don't feel like you have to have the correct tools to create this, because you really don't. So what we're going to start out with is just a small little loop. If you've made ear wires with me before, this is pretty much the exact same thing. It's just that we're not going to cut it and we're going to mirror it on both sides. So I'm going to use either one of these for your small loop. It can be the smallest, it can be the next one up. It's really just kind of up to you. What you want is about a 3 to 4 millimeter loop. So whatever you're going to use to get there is going to be fine. I'm going to put my wire right between the two mandrels, and then I'm just going to turn that loop, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to center it up on the wire or anything. I'm going to leave it exactly like it is. Then I'm going to place this back into my tool, but back here to the back where I have the largest part of the tool. And I'm just going to guide the wire up and over that mandrel to make this kind of shepherd's hook, right? Now, all I got to do is just mirror this on the other side. Okay. And there are a couple of different ways you can do that. And it doesn't have to be exactly even. If you want to pre-measure how much wire it takes to make that shape and then double it so that that's exactly how long you need your wire to be, that might make things easier for you. I tend to just kind of eyeball it, to be honest with you. And so the next step for me, instead of doing a loop at the end and rolling it back, is I'm actually going to start with the larger part. So I'm going to put this into the tool. Let's see, best way to do this. With my little shepherd's hook, just right up against, there's no extra room here, right? So it's sitting right up against the tool. That little loop is sitting right there. Now I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to go the opposite direction. Just like that. And I'm making like a figure 8 with my wire, right? And then I'm going to take that off. And then I'm going to come in with my pliers again, and notice where I'm placing them. I'm placing them like right in the crisscross. Okay, right at the crisscross, and I'm using that larger of the two small mandrels, and I'm going to take that wire and I'm just going to go back the other direction. So I'm just kind of doing this really weird little back and forth, and then just kind of readjust it on your tool so that you can kind of close up your loop. And then you're just going to come in and trim that extra wire off. Now, there's a million ways you can do that. There really is. And whatever works best for you, go for it. That to me is just the way to do it without any pre-measuring. If you just want to cut a piece of wire and go for it, that's the best way to do it. So
I love that a lot. I struggle with sometimes symmetrical wire components like that.
Well, I find that
Nice.
the answer to most of it is just in the placement of the tool, honestly. If you just kind of figure out and don't add any extra spaces to things. That's kind of the biggest thing is people are like, well, maybe I should scoot the tool over 1/4 of an inch. No, you don't want to do any of that. You always want to kind of be whatever your previous step was, you want your tool to be touching that previous step, and that'll keep things mostly symmetrical. Okay, so with this, now mine is not quite flat yet. It's a little off center a little bit, and I want to work hard in this. I forgot to tell you guys, super important thing at the beginning. I'm using 20 gauge. Totally left that out. I'm using 20 gauge German style wire for this. And if I'm not mistaken, you can grab this over in the shop, can't you, Sam?
Yeah, we carry the full line of German style. 20 gauge is actually the thickest gauge that Bead carries the German style in copper.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I'm using the 20 gauge here. And that there's nothing wrong with that, except that you do just want to work hard in it a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you've got a block and you've got a nylon hammer, you definitely want to work hard in this so that it's going to retain that shape once you put it into your necklace.
What do you think are the chances that we could get them to make an 18 gauge for us in copper?
I wish.
It's like the silver German style comes in 18 and potentially thicker. And yeah,
I need it. I need the 18 gauge for sure.
So do you have to do a good amount of work hardening to kind of get it to where you want it? Oh, wow. That already is a lot better.
It doesn't take a whole lot, but you do want to once you think it's stiff enough, you want to do it a little bit longer. And it really should be good to go. Yeah, that's in good shape. That's not going anywhere. So
I also just think S hooks are so elegant, Sarah. Like sometimes folks will just make 2 S hooks and just make that their clasp.
Yep. And they're so pretty.
So stunning.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Love, 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 love. All right. So that's our first little bit of wire work that we're going to do. The next bit that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to wire wrap our elephant so that when we're stringing everything on, we can just slide him right on in. So we're going to use another piece of the 20 gauge wire. You only need like 3.5, 4 inches of this for that. And we're going to do a knotted head pin. Now listen, I normally only do knotted head pins with 22 gauge wire, but that doesn't mean that you can't use other gauges. If your bead is on the smaller side, 24 gauge will work. If it's on the larger side, 20 gauge will work. And we're going to use the 20 gauge here because I just wanted to keep all of the gauges in the jewelry set the same. So we're going to use the 20 gauge here. And we're going to come in with our round nose pliers. We're going to grab that wire right at the tip. And we're going to roll the wire around the tip of the pliers all the way around once. And then we're going to roll a second time directly underneath. And we're going to stop when we see that cut in the wire. So once you've gone all the way around twice, you're good to go. Before you take this off the tool, then you want to bend the wire. So we're going to bend it this direction. And it's important that you do that before you take it off of the tool so that you bend the wire in the correct direction. You want that wire going away from the tool and away from your hand so that the bend actually goes underneath the two coils, not the other direction, right? So we're going to take this off. We're going to take the tail end of this wire and we're going to bend it backwards. And we are going to stick it through the loop that we just made. And then we're going to come in, or the two coils that we just made, and we're going to bring in our nylon jaw pliers. We want to hold on to that wire, and we want those two coils to be right up against the edge of the nylon jaw pliers. You're going to take another pair of pliers and you're going to pull. And as you pull, you're going to pull a knot into the end of your wire.
Ooh, that was a nice one.
Yeah, that turned out really pretty. All right. And then when you take it off of the tool, you've got a little knotted head pin and you can just drop your bead right on top. So we're just going to slide our elephant right down on top.
What was life before knotted head pins, Sarah?
Do what?
What was life before knotted head pins? I don't know what I used to do.
I don't even know. I don't know.
What?
All right, now we're going to do a wrap loop. So we're going to come in and listen, if you want to add more beads to this, you can, right? You can stack some more of those beautiful beads on here if you wanted to. Add just about anything you want, I guess. But I'm just going to go ahead and do just a loop. So grabbing the wire where it is exiting, I'm going to bend it over the top of the pliers. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, and I want to make my loop kind of big. So I'm going to come towards the back of the tool, a little bit back here, and I'm going to go up and over. I'm going to rotate the pliers so that I can take the wire all the way over to close up that loop. And then I'm just going to wire wrap in that space. And your elephant will probably spin around while you wrap, and that's totally fine. It just makes things a little bit easier, honestly. That way you're not fighting against the elephant as you're wire wrapping. And then you're just going to come in with your cutter and you're going to trim off the excess.
They say with the Czech elephants that when the trunk is up, that's when they're extra lucky.
Yes. I think that's true for all elephant art. The trunk needs to be up, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just always thought that was lucky.
No, it's definitely a thematic sort of idea.
All right, so we've got our two pieces of like hardwired things ready. Now the rest of this is going to be bead stringing wire, and we're going to start out. Before we start stringing, we're going to start out with these two little loops here.
Yay.
And we're just going to cut some short little pieces of bead stringing wire, grab some crimps. Okay, so you're not going to need a ton of wire for this either. Just a couple of inches is going to be fine. So like 3 or 4 inches. Whoa, at the absolute most. Okay, so cut you 2 pieces of bead stringing wire. And then you're going to use some of these seed beads. Dump out some of these. And you're going to need some crimps. Now I'm using crimp tubes, but you can use crimp beads, whatever you prefer. I'm going to get 2 of those.
Hashtag Team Crimp Tube.
And I'm going to thread onto one of my short little pieces of bead string where I'm going to thread on my crimp, and then I'm going to thread on 32 seed beads.
Yeah, heck yeah, you will.
You can alter that if you want to, but it's going to be 32 for me.
I was wondering if Sarah would hate me from doing tenos. They were just so cute, and I had this beautiful bag that Danielle was like, you have to just check. Like Danielle always has the seed bead color recommendations, and like
yeah.
I had this bag. I was like, oh, this matches the kit so perfectly. I think I have to use them. Hopefully Sarah likes tenos.
Oh yeah.
Okay, are your nails for St. Patrick's Day or to match the March box?
Oh, listen. So the nails are completely unintentional, and I'll be completely honest with you. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And unfortunately cannot do anything. This is just what they're going to be stuck with for the next 2 weeks until I go back to get my nails done. Because I refuse to tuck my tail and go back to the nail place and be like, this green color I picked out that I was so excited about, I really hate it. So I normally get that pink that I absolutely love. This lady was sitting next to me I've got 20 beads on here, by the way. She was sitting next to me and she was like, I really want a beautiful like Easter color, you know, something good for Easter. And I was like, I wonder what color she's going to pick. And I'm sitting there with my hot pink, you know, and she pulls out this green and she gets her nails done and it was absolutely beautiful. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need that green. And then they painted my nails and I was like, okay, that's not too bad. I get out in the parking lot and I was like, oh my gosh, it's hideous. I hate them.
It's not hideous.
I hate them so much, but I'm gonna suffer. And therefore everybody who sees my hands is gonna suffer with me for the next 2 weeks until I go to get it changed. So my apologies if you hate green, but it did work out because it does match the box. It really
But you
does.
like that kind of color in the box.
Listen, it's totally different when it's beads as opposed to when it's your actual fingernails. And then it's like, oh, what have I done? And I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I'm so pink, like my skin tone is so pink, that the green, it just looks like I stuck my fingers in slime. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Whatever.
We got a question from Sylvia. Did the wire go over the cut end of the coil or next to it? Oh, for the knotted head pin. So
over the
two
cut
wraps.
end, next to it. It's next to it. That's right.
I think she's talking about the step where you're folding at 90 degrees. So it's coil.
It's coil, and then we're gonna do another one. So don't worry.
Okay.
We're gonna do another one. So just stay tuned. We're gonna do another one. All right. So for finishing off our loop, though, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the opposite end of our bead stringing wire, and we're gonna thread it through that crimp going in the opposite direction. So just like this, right? And then we're just gonna pull everything down. And then you're going to bring in your crimper tool and you're going to crimp that. Now, listen, you got to be really careful though, because you don't want to accidentally crush a seed bead. Here's the thing though, because of where we're using this in our necklace, okay, this is not a situation where we're putting a clasp on. I always tell you, be sure your wires are not crisscrossing inside the crimp and all of that stuff. Okay. That's all well and good for regular crimping, but for something like this, I'm not super worried about it because this is not the main part of the necklace. This is just an additional little something. So don't stress about where those wires are going. As long as one's going in one direction, one's going in the other direction, and you can get in there and crimp it without crushing a seed bead, that's all I care about. Okay. So you can throw your crimping rules out the window just this once. Give it a squeeze. Turn it sideways. Put it in the front notch of the crimper tool. Give it another squeeze and just tug on it. And as long as it's secure, you're good to go. Just go ahead and trim it off. So don't worry so much about that part. Now with the other stuff that we're doing where we crimp the long part of the necklace, that we need to be sure we do that correctly. But for this, I'm not super worried about it. Trim off your ends and you've got yourself a little ring. We're going to do one more and we're going to link this one to that one. So we're going to thread on a crimp. And then another 32 seed beads. So go ahead and thread those on first.
If someone really had a lot of patience on these, it'd be so beautiful, the whole necklace of those components.
Yes.
It'd be gorgeous.
I agree. So there's 10.
You could even like add those like intermixed in the necklace more to break up some of your beads if you wanted to make your necklace extra fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I like how adaptable this design is, Sarah. Like you have
Yeah.
such a nice vision of it, and then there's so many ways folks I think can spin it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's the puppy update? Because I'm about 10 minutes away from knocking down your door and taking your puppy.
Oh my gosh. Well, so let me tell you, I've decided that she can fly.
Of course.
And before we crimp this, before we go through that crimp bead, we're going to thread this on, by the way. So yesterday, Q and I had to go out and run some errands and just do some shopping. We weren't gone very long, but we have normally been putting her in her kennel when we leave. Well, yesterday she was being so good, and so we used the baby gates and gated her in our hallway. We have a really long hallway. And so we gated her in the hallway with the other dogs, right? And the other dogs, they don't care because they don't get into stuff. They're good. But I have to either crate her or put her in a small area because she does get into things. And so again, we were not gone for very long, but when we came home, the gates were still up, but she was on the other side. And I was like, how? How did that happen? And it's not like a regular baby gate. This is not a short baby gate that she could just jump over. This is like an extra tall, you know, specifically ordered gate to keep her in. And she flew. She flew. She has wings. I know she does.
Maybe she used another dog as a launching pad.
Yeah, she had to. Unless she sprouted wings and flew, she had to like jump on the back of somebody else. So yeah, I don't know, she's crazy. She's totally crazy. She's sweet and snuggly and just the sweetest baby in the whole world, but she is also like insane. So yeah, and she's growing so fast. All right, we've got our 2 little loops. Now we're going to start the necklace. And when we start the necklace, we're going to start out with another loop. Okay. So you want to cut a piece of your bead stringing wire. Now, Sam, do you remember what the measurement was on the long length of bead stringing wire in the material?
I have a supply list. 1 second.
Because I do not remember off the top of my head. And I tend to just eyeball things, but I want to give you a pretty good measurement.
Yeah, 1 second. You emailed it to me. For the necklace, it was 26-inch piece of bead stringing wire.
Okay. Yeah, 26, 28 inches is going to be perfect for that. And we're going to start out exactly the same way. I am going to start out with a crimp going onto the bead stringing wire and then another 32 of the seed beads. And we're just going to do a little loop. So we're going to loop this back through in just a second. So let me grab the seed beads.
I love that you've kept this theme going of the big loops of seed beads.
Yeah. I almost did them in the earrings too, and you could absolutely do that. If you wanted to do like, you know, your earrings and then hang the elephant like this. Hold on. How cute would those be?
Yeah, that's really cute. It's basically you basically have made it a new bead component, basically. Like that can hang from the necklace. That could hang from the earring. Like there's so many. I love that. Even just a cute little bracelet of those. You can make those the base of a charm bracelet.
Yep.
We got comments about other flying dogs. Wait, so you have 3, 4? How many dogs do you have now?
I have 4 dogs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, that's my dream.
Yeah, I know. It's we have a pack. We have a whole pack. Okay, so before we loop this, we're going to attach this to these 2. Okay. So take the tail end of your wire, loop it through one of those, and then go through your crimp. And you're going to crimp this. And this will be the beginning of your necklace.
Even that shape, just the teardrop shape, like for the earrings, could be really nice. If that was your teardrop with the elephant hanging like above or below that, like gorgeous.
Yeah, so pretty. So pretty. All right, now we're just going to string up our beads and we're going to string these up. Now listen, you don't have to do the exact same pattern that I do, but you absolutely can. I wanted to really kind of utilize all of the beads that I could and make it so that they were kind of their own little featured sections. So Sam and I have talked about before, when I make necklaces, when I do stringing projects, a lot of times I'll do it in small sections. And this is definitely a really good example of how I did that in just little sections. So like the first little section is literally just this right here with the two larger beads, and they've got seed beads between them. Then I did a little section with 3, and then a section for my focal, and then another section here of those. And this section kind of actually is a single section if you want to, want to look at it as a single, because the beads are all the same. And then I move on to something else. So I really did kind of do this in like small increments. So if you kind of struggle with stringing and putting together a pattern, don't think big picture. Think little small things at a time. Try to break it down that way, and it might make it a little bit easier for you to come up with patterns. And they don't have to be symmetrical. I'm all about it being asymmetrical. Symmetrical stringing is great, but when I have this really cool bead palette, I feel like being asymmetrical and kind of mixing things up is so much fun, And if you don't like it, you just unstring it and try something else, You don't
Okay,
have
this
to
is about to be
commit.
a very musical, nerdy comment but I'm gonna try to make it easily understandable.
Yeah.
Because so in college, I studied a lot of like early music, Baroque music from like the 1600s, 1700s,
Right.
and something I would hear all the time is the teachers would say like, think about like the song like a string of pearls. It was
Ooh.
constant. They would compare it to jewelry making.
Yeah.
And how basically each like even like 2-second piece of the song
Hmm.
was its own idea. So you're like, you got to focus on the one idea, fully round it out, finish the pearl before you then start on the next one.
That is a beautiful way to look at it.
Because like the whole idea was like it gets its beauty from being a string of pearls, but you actually have to like each one has to be its own
Yeah.
idea first. So like what you're just describing reminded me a lot of that, of how you have like each section is really important, and then by putting them together is actually where it becomes so beautiful.
Right. I love that. That's awesome. And
But
that makes so much sense too, because when you think about like, just to take that one step further, when you think about pearl necklaces that are like real honest to goodness, like perfect pearls,
mhm,
most people would buy one pearl at a time, because nobody could,
mm,
it would take you a lifetime to have enough pearls to do an entire strand. That's why they knotted in
mhm,
between them, so that you didn't lose any of those.
mhm,
So you save up for a whole year to buy a single pearl. So yeah, that single
mm.
pearl was just as important to the whole design as the finished strand. That's
Oh,
beautiful. I
wow.
love
That's beautiful.
it. All right, so this little section here where I'm going to put my elephant, I'm going to do 9 seed beads here. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I'm going to go ahead and thread my elephant on. Okay, now I'm going to start kind of that pattern again, where it is the druks and they've got 3 seed beads in between them. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the druks. I'll go ahead and grab them and put them over here. So there's 4, 6, 7. Dump out a few more of these beautiful seed beads.
Valerie was curious why, if it's possible to make the loop that starts the necklace long strand also circular.
So if it isn't attached, so in order to make it a perfect circle like these, well, I mean, not perfect, but to make it more circular like these two, you would do a third circle just like these, and it not be the same piece of bead string and wire, and maybe just use a jump ring
Mm-hmm.
as your go between. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like here, just put a jump ring on here and then start your bead stringing wire off the jump ring. That's really
Right.
the
So
only way that I
it
know.
gets its shape from kind of how you crimp
Yeah.
it then.
Yeah. All right. So 3 seed beads and a bigger bead. That's going to be the pattern for the next little section here.
I've been obsessed with these Druks for a while. We've had them in the shop for a bit, And I don't know, there's always been something so fascinating about them to me, because they're very bright, but they're neutral and brown and but
Yeah.
shiny. Like they're just like a really cool bead.
I agree. They're definitely a super super cool bead. And this color right now, like what are you calling it? Is it like an amber color to you? Is it a honey color? Like what do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's so nice about the Picasso is that it's so mixed that
Yeah,
you get all of those.
because it
And then
definitely
because it has
reminds
that
me.
clear base, like you get it just has such a nice, the light goes through it so nicely.
Yeah, it definitely gives me honey vibes, and it's a color that I've been really kind of like honey colors, honey tones. I've really been drawn to recently for some reason, which is weird for
Hmm.
me because I'm more of like this darker, but this color and all of the like shades of that in between on both sides, the darker and the lighter, I'm just really kind of into right now as far as designing goes. So this whole kit, this palette of beads was right up my alley. It's like it came at the exact time. Oh no! I think I'm
I
speaking too much.
distracted.
Whoops.
Raise your hands if you've ever done that before. Here's 17 hands.
All right.
So tomorrow, folks, Sarah and I are hanging out in less than 24 hours.
Yes, I can't wait.
So we're doing, Sarah's got her Tuesday live. That's
Mhm.
10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And we will be taking a look at the brand new March Sam's V box, which is the second anniversary box.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to hopefully, what do we think? We think we're doing design on the fly for tomorrow?
Well, maybe you are, but I actually I cheated, Sam. I designed in advance, and I just haven't told
That's
you
awesome.
because I haven't gotten a picture of it yet. And honestly, it's not anything super intense. It's just I did it again. Can you believe that? It's just a really cool pair of earrings they're on the simple side. Like they're not super hard, but I'm in love with them, like completely in love with them. I can't wait to show them to you guys.
I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, and they're not hard. It's just a little bit of wire wrapping, and I'll get a picture of them as soon as I can. It's just today's been kind of a crazy day, and I'm unfortunately missing out on all the sunshine for my pictures. So I should
That's
have done
okay.
that first thing
We'll
this
get to see the
morning.
beautiful earrings tomorrow.
Oh yeah, they're so fun. I love them. I love them. I'm using
Oh,
some super cool components that were in the box.
and just like quick shout out while we're already live right now, like we early released all of the March V-Box extras for the first time on Friday, and like things have been going a little wild since then. So if there's a bead from the March box that you have been wanting, or you are like thinking of getting, like you should go look like even before tomorrow, because I think tomorrow's when some things are going to really start selling out.
Yeah.
Because some of the faves are, I haven't checked it, but I was noticing some of the things are going to start running out.
So let me tell you about the box. I had a really hard time picking out what my favorite was, and I'm still not sure what my favorite is. But I have there's like 3 things, and I didn't use any of them in the earrings because I was like, I want to save them for something else. Is that
Yeah.
like who else does? Everybody does that, right? We all do that. We're like, oh, I'm gonna make this because I'm inspired, but I'm saving my favorites because I gotta make something else out of them, and then they end up just hanging there so that you just look at them instead. I mean, let's be honest.
Well,
So
no,
I think they're
absolutely.
my favorites. But
Some folks have really taken on this challenge from Wendy, because she did like 17 bracelets with the January box that we designed.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
As us two. And so like and with Rachel. So she did I think for February she did as many necklaces as she could do. And then I think she's gonna do as many jewelry sets for March as she can do.
Wow.
She's just on this kick of being like, how much jewelry can you actually make from the box?
Yeah. I love that. I
kind of
love that.
Break us out of our pattern of like, oh, I gotta save this. I'm like, no, like just like let yourself enjoy your beads.
Oh,
Also,
that's so right. Yeah. let yourself enjoy. I need to do that. I really need to stop holding on to things just because they're my favorites. And I'm really bad about it. I have like a whole bag of things that are just my
Mhm.
favorites, and like they're not doing me any good being in the bag.
You could be wearing them.
I know. I should have them all on.
You could just make like a steel plate that you could like just wrap them all onto.
Yes, yes.
And just wear all of your beads.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What if you just had little drawers? You're like, here are all my favorite things.
I need that. Oh my gosh. Like I had this. Okay, so you probably know like from like old plays and stuff. Like that's what I think of when I think about this. Like the guy who would wear the like old movies and stuff, he'd wear a trench coat and he'd open up the trench coat and he'd have like pocket watches, and not pocket watches, but like watches and necklaces and stuff hanging from each side, that were like clearly not the real deal, but he was like trying to sell them on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I need a trench coat that's got things so I can open up both sides and I've got all my favorite jewelry hanging on both sides.
Just you at trivia night, it's just like, look at my jewelry.
It's really bad though, because like this last Monday, a week ago today, I had to go to JTV, had lots of meetings and stuff I had to go to. And I saw a lot of old friends from back when I worked there on a regular basis. And then I met a lot of new people. And one of the questions that people kept asking me that would meet me that were new people were like, so what do you have on that you've made?
Mm-hmm.
You know what my answer was? Nothing, because I never wear anything that I make. And like, when I came away from that, I was like, I gotta stop doing that. Like, I really do need to wear my pieces, because people ask me that all the time. When I tell them what I do, then the next question is always, well, so what do you have on that you made so that we can see? And I never have on anything that I made ever.
I'm at the same fault way too often.
Yeah, it's terrible, because I have beautiful pieces of jewelry that I have made just for myself, but yet never wear them. Never.
So I want to point out that Sarah has the most beautiful pattern going on of these teardrops facing towards the center point that I'm absolutely in love with.
Yeah, and then we're going to turn around and go the other direction with these too. So see this little section here? So there's like 3, and then one of those garnet beads, and 3 facing, and then a garnet, and then they're going the other direction. So that's a cute little, I like to mix it up when I can. I thought that was a cute little way to use those drops.
I'm also at fault on the other direction. Like sometimes I'll be playing pickleball, and which if you don't know me, I'm obsessed. Like obsessed.
As you should be. It's really cool.
It's really fun. I play like every day. So there's like, I was playing a game the other day that was like a pretty intense game with like some pretty like strong players, and the game was like no one was scoring points. It was kind of keep going on, and like it was getting pretty heated. And I was wearing this like beautiful necklace I just made. It was like rainbow moonstone and peach moonstone. It was like this beautiful, and quartz. It was like this gorgeous gemmy necklace. I think I shared it last week. And at a certain point, I was like, hold on, I need a second. I had a little tiny little lobster clasp. I had to take it off, and then the people on the court were like, all right, now it's really happened. Here we go.
It's on now. He's taking his jewelry off. Watch out.
Take off my hoops.
That is awesome.
I don't remember who won that game, but that's not the point of the story.
Well, with the build up like that, it had to have been you for all of that.
I want to say I actually do think we won.
That's awesome. So there's only one place here in my town where you can play pickleball, and it is up at the country club. And I have yet to join the country club, but I really want to, because I want to play pickleball really badly.
Isn't Q also a little competitive?
He is. And I can imagine the two of us playing pickleball and it being a very serious thing and getting very serious very quickly.
The type was like, I thought the fun of pickleball, that's not that competitive. It's very, well, it depends there's many types of pickleball players.
Yeah, depends on what kind of player you are, for sure.
I mean, I go there to have fun, but like some of the fun of it is if you have like a really good, like if you got a really heated Monopoly game, like that's the fun of the game. Like you
Oh,
got to get into it.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Sylvia, yeah, the drops are fire polished. So these beautiful like drop. I love how they're drilled. I have these in a bunch of colors that I found in New York. So we'll have to get those in the shop because Sarah's already showing me that they are beautiful to design with, and now I need to get them all on the website.
Yeah. And guys, don't be afraid to string your drops. I feel like a lot of people, when you say drop, like they immediately, that's what they want to do with them is make them some sort of dangly drop, but they do look
Mhm.
beautiful strung, and if you switch them
Mhm.
around like that and kind of play with them, like you can really get some beautiful effects using the drops in your stringing projects. So, all right, we're getting right down here to the end. So I've got 2 more of these to add on, and then we're going to crimp this onto our clasp.
Kelly, you just strung up that whole necklace.
Yeah, I know, and I feel bad because I didn't talk everybody through every single bit of it, but
Well,
I did make sure to like lay out the design as I was going so that you could see like where we were.
yeah,
Like
and
this
so
is
there, and I've
finished.
also already made the blog post that has Sarah's photos of the piece. One of the photos is of the whole necklace.
Yeah.
So if you pull that up, you can kind of help follow the design like with a snapshot that way as well.
All right, so we've got all of our beautiful beads here, and we've got our clasp, and I'm going to just crimp this to our clasp. Now listen, if you're worried about your clasp, your stringing coming off of this, one way to keep it from coming off is to use a wire guardian. And another way is to overbend. If you'll overbend
Mhm.
just slightly, and that'll keep the space there so that that's not gonna your bead stringing wire is not gonna slip through there. So I'm gonna take my bead stringing wire through, and then back down through the crimp.
I feel like I've seen a version where you've even like wrapped. You've like folks even like make them decorated S
Yeah,
hooks, or like they'll wrap one portion to kind of close it.
yeah, and that works too to keep it from. But honestly, it's not going to come off. I'll show you why here in just a second, because in order for this to come off, it would have to clear that loop, right?
Oh yeah.
And as long as that section right there is nice and closed, you're not gonna go over that. But if you're
Yeah.
while you're crimping, if you're worried about it, again, just kind of over bend and get it crimped, and then you should be good to go. The other side, though, you do want to open it just slightly because you want to be able to hook it to your beads. So we're gonna trim off the excess here. And the necklace portion of our little set is done. And I'm going to do very abbreviated versions of the bracelet just to show you, and the earrings too, because we're already at like almost an hour. But I do want to be sure that you know how to put them all together if you want to do them the way that I did. So there's the necklace. It's absolutely beautiful.
Wow, that
That's
could
one
go
of
with
my
like
favorite things I've made in a while, honestly. The colors are so beautiful.
that came out beautifully. I
Yeah.
really like that piece.
Yeah, I do too. So good. Thank you for those beads, Sam.
Thanks for making that beautiful necklace. Great. We got a good
Oh.
little setup going here.
Yeah, I kind of like this little relationship we got. It works.
It's like we've done this for a couple years now.
You would think, yeah. Okay, so for the bracelet, I just did little wire wrapped sections, you guys. I took some of the smaller drops and put those onto head pins and just did simple loops and used a jump ring. Okay, so these are really super easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do the little section, and then maybe we'll do 2 just so that you can see how to link them together. But then the rest of that, I think you guys can definitely figure that out, and then we'll do the earrings so that we can do another knotted head pin for those who need to see the steps for that again. Okay, so for each section of the bracelet, we're going to start out with, let's do two drops here. And you definitely can do your own knotted head pins for these if you want to. I do kind of recommend going down a size. Don't use this 20 gauge for these, just because these are a smaller bead, and that 20 gauge wire with that big chunky knot might be a little too much at the bottom of these drops. So that's why I just went with using just a regular head pin for these, just something out of my stash. But you're just going to put that down. My head pin's a little bent here. So you're going to put that down just like that. Okay, and then you're going to take the wire and you're going to bend it right where it exits the bead. You don't want to bend it over the top of your pliers because you're not going to do any wraps. You're going to come in with your cutter and you're going to trim off and you're going to leave yourself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. And then you're going to use your round nose pliers and you're going to roll back to close up your loop. Okay, and you're going to do that with 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So you don't even have to do a whole bunch of them, which is good because a lot of people don't like those simple loops. You could do a wrapped loop if you wanted to too. There's no reason why you can't. So we're going to do a second one. Just roll back to close up our loop. And then I'm going to use 2 jump rings here. And I'm going to put these onto the jump rings. So there's one, and then I'm going to do another one, and you're going to do that for all 4 of your little drops. Okay. All right. So for the little wire wrapped bead sections, you're going to need like 3.5, 4 inches of wire. Okay. That again, it's the 20 gauge German style. I'm going to come down on the wire about 1 inch. I'm going to bend the wire. And then we're going to come in with our round nose pliers. We're going up and over. Rotate the pliers, take the wire over to the other side, and then you're going to wire wrap about 3 times. So basically, you're making an eye pin with a wrapped loop. Okay, and we're going to trim off the excess. And we're going to thread on one of those beautiful Picasso beads. We're going to thread on 2 seed beads.
This is the piece where I've been wanting to see exactly how this came together.
And then you're just going to thread on the jump ring with the dangle, and then another one of those, just like that. So that dangle in there is going to just kind of sit over the top of the seed beads, right?
How
So
have
it's
I
got
never
lots of
thought?
movement.
How have I never thought to add a dangle to a wrapped loop section? Oh my gosh.
Fun, right? I love dangles. Anywhere I can put a dangle.
It's like you just created another spot to create a dangle. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, any opportunity to do that is a good opportunity. So
That's so smart. Why is that so? That's so smart.
up and over. We're gonna rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then we're just gonna wire wrap to secure everything.
This happens every class. There's always something I'm just like, oh my gosh.
All right, and then we're gonna trim off the excess. And we got a little beaded section. So you're gonna do, ultimately you'll have done 4 of those, but we're gonna do 2 and we're gonna wire wrap them together. You're gonna use 3 of those gorgeous jade beads and you're gonna just wire wrap those on too. So they don't have any little dangles, though you could add whatever dangles you wanted to. I mean, like I said, any opportunity to add a dangle is a good opportunity. I don't I never say no to a dangle of any jewelry kind. Like they're all fun. All right, so coming down on the wire. This piece of wire is way too long. That's okay. We're going to start our loop. So we're going to go up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side. And then before we do the wire wrap, we're going to stick this one through a loop that we just made. And then you're just going to gently snap those 2 together. And I like to hold with my bent chain nose pliers, just to kind of keep everything out of the way. And then you're going to wire wrap.
I was hoping you were going to start wrapping with your non-dominant hand for a moment there.
No. I've tried and it looks awful. I want to be able to do it so badly, but I cannot. I cannot seem to perfect it.
I can't do it the other way.
It's funny because I did the live with Meredith last week over on Bead, and she said that we needed to do a thing where everybody who does their loops differently, we should all get together and do a live showing all the different ways, to do a wrapped loop, because people who struggle with wrapped loops, one of the ways that they see from somebody is going to be the way that works for them,
It's the same for brio wrapping. There's about 17 ways to
Oh yeah.
slightly varied ways to brio wrap.
Yep. Yeah, and the more options you have, the easier it is to find the one that's going to work for you and not feel frustrated,
I really like that you've kept those jade beads like nice and center there.
Yeah. Originally I wasn't sure how I wanted this bracelet to go. And honestly, when I very first did it, I alternated and I did like one of these sections in a jade bead and then one of these, but I wanted the jade beads to be the feature because they are so beautiful. I wanted the rest of the bracelet to be beautiful too, obviously, but I felt like they just kind of needed their own, they needed to be the centerpiece. So
Yeah,
that's how I ended up with the 3 in the center. Yeah.
And we did give
really
5 in the kit. So like Sarah used 3 in the bracelet. So if you kind of pull out 2 that match nicely, you could make a little bonus pair of earrings for your kit.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to show you next, because I had an idea as I was making the earrings that I used these extra jade beads just as an idea. So just a little inspiration in case you need it. But to finish off the bracelet, guys, you're gonna just keep wire wrapping. Put your jade beads in the middle and do 2 more sections, and then I just used some jump rings to add my beautiful clasp to this.
Tiny
So
leg.
it's just a wire wrapped bracelet, right? And then the earrings. Let me show you what I was thinking with these earrings, because you could potentially, instead of a drop, you could put this bad boy elephant here on top of that, and he looks like he's balancing on a circus ball. And I was like, oh, I want that so badly, but I couldn't make it make sense with the necklace and the bracelet, so I didn't do it. But I was like, I love circus everything, and that to me, like that's the earring that I should have made, but it didn't necessarily go. But look, he's balancing on a ball. So if you want to make extra earrings with your jade beads, you could do that. You can make circus earrings. I won't judge you. I'll think it's fabulous. So all right, let's make a knotted head pin and put these earrings together really quickly, and then we'll have a whole set. Okay, so let me walk you through the knotted head pin one more time. And all right, so again, you're going to start at the tip of the wire with the tip of the round nose pliers, and you're grabbing the wire. You're going to wrap around the tip of the pliers one time. The next wrap around is going to go next to that, and that's closer to your hand, so not to the outside, to the inside. And then you're going to stop where you see that cut in the wire. So you see the cut, and you've got 2 coils around the top of the tool. Okay. Then when you bend the wire, you're going to bend it so that it runs underneath those coils. So you take it off. This is kind of what it looks like. It's kind of unnatural to bend it underneath the coils. Like your instinct is going to tell you, take it off the tool and bend the wire the other direction, but it doesn't work if you do it that way. So you got to bend it this way, and then take the wire, bring it back around and stick it through those 2 coils. It looks sort of like a little lasso. You're going to use your nylon jaw pliers, grab the wire right up against the coils, and then you're going to pull. And you've got yourself a little knot. You're going to drop down one of the larger of the drops. Of course, you can use the small ones if you want to. It's totally up to you, but one of those drops. And then I just did a wrapped loop here. So there's that. And then you're just going to wire wrap your elephants to that. So I'm going to start another wrapped loop with another piece of wire, up and over, rotate, take the wire over. And before you start the wraps, go through that loop, just snap those two together. Hold on to that with the bent chain nose pliers. And then come in, trim off, thread on your elephant, and you're going to do another wrapped loop.
So cute. There's something luxurious about this elephant color mix to me.
Yeah, me too.
They're like this deep red, and they cover in that same Picasso finish.
Mm-hmm.
They're some fancy elephants.
I agree.
And they know they're fancy.
Oh, totally. 100%. Okay, and then all you're going to do is just add your ear wire to those. So.
Oh, so lovely.
Where are our ear wires? What happened to my little bag? I have lost my bag. Who knew?
No more findings bag?
I have no idea what happened to it. So I'll just show you the one that's already ready. And you just open that up, guys. It's just super easy. And attach that to your loop, and you're good to go. They're super cute.
Those coils look so nice there. And that's the 20 gauge. You really get to see the coils more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Super pretty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we just did earrings, bracelet, necklace, full kit. Oh, so lovely.
All the pretty things. Yeah. And I'll turn you guys around and put the necklace on a bust so you can see what it looks like hanging. So everything looks different when you hang it up. Give me just a second.
Look at Neely's comment. Oh my gosh.
What? I can't see any comments, so you're going to have to oh no, your findings turns. That is why Neela is one of my favorite people in the whole world. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Oh my god.
My goodness. Oh yeah. That's hilarious. My findings are losties. Okay, can't show you my mess. Oh, like, okay.
Oh my god, Neela.
That was awesome.
Ooh.
Here's our necklace, guys.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Just feels like strands of luxurious beads. That is such a nice selection.
I agree. So pretty, but it's because the beads that you gave are so beautiful. Now I gotta find my losties now. I don't know what happened. Yep. Oh goodness. I haven't seen you that tickled in a while.
It's the things that are not even. Oh my god. Okay. I remember a stream with you that one time Kathy totally made you lose it. You couldn't go for the rest of the stream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, I find you myself. Here we are. Sarah, can you end the stream?
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Tomorrow, set your reminders for 1 p.m. Eastern time because Sam and I will be together over on my Facebook page. That is Sara Lovecraft Designs. And we're going to be going through the March bead box. I'm going to be putting together some earrings. Sam will probably still be laughing from today. And I don't know, maybe Sam will make something too. And if we're lucky, Nilay will show up and say something to get us all giggling again. Oh my gosh, but you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't even know what else to say. Sam, what do you got going on for the rest of the week to let everybody know about? No, nothing? He's got nothing, y'all.
Check out samsbeadshop.com.
Yeah, that would be the samsbeadshop.com, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a fun class and ended wonderfully. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
I'm in pain.
We love you guys so much.
Love you all. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sam. Bye, guys.